everyone. Hopefully you're working on your design for your puppet, which was homework last week, and just jotting down notes and going out and buying supplies. As you're doing that, I just came up with a mini lesson, which it will hopefully fast track us when we start next week, and that's going through the parts of a puppet. So I have a finished puppet here, and we're going to deconstruct it. Now you'll notice this puppet has apparel. It has clothes as well, any props or jewelry, that sort of thing. It adds a little bit more character to your puppet. Now this puppet in particular has a outfit that really doesn't suit its character, but I just put it on there as sort of as a part of the demo. And if you notice, it's a baby shirt. Now you can get most clothing from a used clothing store, and I would recommend 6 to 9 months. It fits most of the Simple Series puppets. But the thing about used clothes is that it's faded, it might have a stain here and there, or a baby print on it. So you have to be aware of that when you're buying used clothes. If you're buying new, I would recommend going to Build-A-Bear or basically build your own clothes if you have that much time. Now the other thing we're going to look at is appendages. That's arms, legs, tails, and I also include the rods. Now the rod's not with this puppet, but when you open up the arm, you'll notice that it's filled with polyfill. That's what we're going to be using for your puppet. Now the next thing we're going to do is start dissecting your puppet. Now I'm going to cut away the neck, and you'll see sort of the skin of the puppet, and the skin meaning the fabric base part. So this is the sleeve for the puppet, as well as the head. Now I'm going to cut some of the features away, and it's going to be sort of a mix mash of features and skin and that sort of thing, but I'll walk you through it. So I'm cutting off the ears right now. That would count as a feature, as well as the nose and the eyes. But to get to those, I have to sort of cut away at the mouth. Now I have sewn this mouth together with like the inside of the mouth to the fabric on the outside, but the way I'm going to show you is we're going to glue it onto your mouth plate, and I'll go through the plate and mouth stuff in a couple seconds. So let me just cut away this. And what you're going to see is basically the pattern of the puppet, and that's the inside mouth pattern, and this will be sort of the outside. Now I'll have to turn this puppet inside out, I think, once I get to the foam base, just to show you the fasteners on the inside of the head that the nose and the eyes are. So let me just cut alongside the seam line here. And like I said, this is sort of the skin part of it. It's a mixed mash of both the skin and the features, but to get to both, I have to sort of do some shimmy in here. So basically now I'm going to turn it inside out. And this is the inside foam sort of part of your puppet. So let me just start cutting these away. This is sort of the rough part of this whole process. So here's the fasteners on the inside of the head, and I'll simply just start to cut those out, and we'll see sort of how it's constructed. So the fasteners go through the fabric as well as the foam, and it's a little bit of a harder process because you have to, the plastic side of the fastener has to attach on the inside. So you're doing it sort of blindly. You won't be able to look at them like this. So this is outside of the eye, and I'll try to cut the next eye and keep it intact with the plastic so that you can see. But as I'm cutting away here, you'll notice that, like I said before, the fastener's on the inside, so it's hard to see. You won't be able to turn your puppet inside out like this to do this process the opposite way. But here we go. Let me just cut this here. Come on. And it's hard because I want to keep it in focus as well. So here we go. I'm almost done here. There we go. Oh, and so this is the outside eye part. So these features sort of will, I mean, they could be as complex as you want and as simple as you want. And I'll show you sort of the simpler way to do it. And there's a plastic eye with the fastener on the back. So let me just rip the nose out because I'm not gonna, I mean, this puppet by now is basically garbage. So I'll just rip this nose out, and there you go. So that's the nose. So yep, so that's the skin with the features on the outside. Now let's look at the foam structure on the inside. So this is sort of the thing that gives your puppet form on the inside and holds sort of a form to your puppet. Now I'm going to cut away at the skull part of it, and it really actually does look like a skull with the eyes and nose gone. And I'm just going to cut the foam out, and what you're left with is the mouth plate as well as the mouth grip. Now the mouth grip is an important part because that's where your hand goes into it. Sort of cradles your hand as you move the mouth plates. And there's a lot of different ways to make mouth grips, and I'll go into a lot more detail of different ways and that sort of thing. This one is an older model when I first started building puppets, and it's basically a sponge on the top and bottom. So I'm going to cut those away so we can see the mouth plates. Now the mouth plate is what's inside of the mouth, and usually is made up of two pieces of material with duct tape in the middle, or leather, or in this case a piece of fabric. And basically it acts as the fabric or leather or whatever acts as a hinge in between the two mouth plates. There are tons of different mouth plates you can create, and you can make them out of wood, leather, plastics, even steel. A mouth plate, though, the simple concept is just two pieces of material that's the size and width of your puppet's mouth, held together by a hinge. The more rigid your mouth plate, the more rigid the puppet will be. The more flexible the mouth plate, the more flexible your puppet will be in regards to how your puppet's mouth moves. So that's a basic concept for everything. It's a Reader's Digest version, and I hope it gives you, as a first-time puppet builder, sort of an example of what it sort of all takes to get everything together. And it's sort of nice too to see from beginning as a already made puppet to the end, where it's all sort of deconstructed into its basic parts. And as I'm talking, I'm constructing it again, so you can look at the finished product again, just in case you forgot. I'm just kidding. But yep, so you end up with a puppet, hopefully at the end of all this, that you'll be proud to show other people. And the last part of a puppet is obviously the hand. So I'll see you guys later. Bye.